got this issue. But it's, we don't know these kind of stuff. So, you have to do that do something about it.
And I think lastly, you had something about the memorial event.
Yes, Larry Monroe couldn't be here tonight. His knees are giving him problems. Larry and his Ranger Veteran Support Group put on an event Saturday to commemorate Memorial Day. He invited U.S. Congressman Roger Williams, the Rangers, to the park. Congressman Williams appeared, had two of his aides with him, and he was the keynote speaker for Larry's event. And also present was Judge David Hall. The speaker also, Terry Robinson, the mayor, was there. She just acknowledged being there, which I don't blame her. And Robert Butler gave a real nice speech also. This was a very, very good event. It brought a lot of spotlight to Ranger. In fact, Congressman Williams, in front of me and Larry, told Larry that he charged his two aides that were with him to make sure they kept abreast of what all Larry had going on in Ranger, that he wanted to know about it. He wanted to participate or help if he could in any and all events. I think this is great. This puts a casts a different light on the city than other things that are going on. I think it's very productive having individuals like that here. Larry and his guys did a very well-planned and orchestrated event. It went off without a hitch. Joe was there. I think you'll agree, and so do you, Terry, that it was a very well-planned and executed event. Something to be proud of. And the guys, they worked their hearts out to get it put together.
Yes, sir. Agenda item number 3, announcements from city council or staff. Comments may be made by council or staff, but no action taken on the following topics without specific notice. Those items include expressions of thanks, congratulations or condolence, information on holiday schedules, recognition of public officials, employees or citizens other than employees or officials whose status may be affected by the council through action, reminders of community events or announcements involving an imminent threat to the public health and safety of the people of the municipality. There's no one on the list. Savannah, do you have anything?
That we are still currently under stage 2 drought. Obviously, we've had some heat that's taken a toll. That's obviously going to evaporate some of the lake quicker, so conserve as much as possible. I know that summertime is coming, so slip and slides and pools and those kinds of things would be fun to have, but we can't do that right now. So if you could pass the word to your neighbors, you see somebody, be kind, remind them that we are conserving water.
Anyone else? Okay. Item agenda number 4, discuss, consider approval of the city council meeting minutes for the regular meeting on May 13th, 2024. Do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes?
I have a question.
We'll discuss that in a moment.
You have a motion.
I have one motion, I need a second, then we discuss. I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. All right, Mr. Calvert, and now discuss.
Yes, on agenda item 9, it says discuss and consider the debt service payments from the water supply district. That was with the Eastland deal. And it says the Commissioner Calvert made a motion to accept the offer as written by the city attorney. Did we have a city attorney? Did our city attorney write that letter? That wasn't my motion.
Mayor, can I comment?
Yes.
The motion that was written by the city attorney that the mayor had read aloud.
That's the way the motion had to be made.
I just recall my motion being, I make a motion, if approved by legal, I make a motion to accept the offer from the Eastland County Water Supply District and the City of Eastland. and that's not how it's termed in the minutes. Also, I have a question on discuss, consider, where is it in the rules that we have to have a motion and a second before any discussion can?
That's parliamentary procedure, I believe.
Well, when an item says discuss, consider, immediate, I think discussion we need to look into that. Because we've got a motion and a second on the table, and then we gotta redo it all over again.
Not.
If we're gonna correct
That's
it.
after the vote.
If we're gonna correct it.
Am I correct, Savannah?
Before I say anything out loud, I want to read it. We can make
I
sure.
believe that there has to be a motion made, a second, then discussion, and then a vote.
So who makes a motion to amend the motion now? Or do we have to kill the first motion with a motion and a second to now make a motion and a second motion? Because it needs to be amended. I did not make the motion as it's written.
That was what the mayor had read aloud, and so the motion needed to be.
The lawyer presented how the motion had to be stated. You can correct that to say the motion as the lawyer.
She can correct the minutes to reflect, what was read aloud. Absolutely.
Yeah, I want the minutes to reflect what my motion was, which was to accept the offer if approved by legal from the Eastland County Water Supply District in the city of Eastland. That's what I made my motion on. Other than that, I see no issue with the minutes.
So Commissioner Irwin, what do you need to amend your motion?
I can amend my motion to add the verbiage that was actually made in the motion by Mr. Powell.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed. Agenda item number 5, discuss, consider approving resolution number 2024-05-28-I, a resolution of the City of Ranger, Texas, authorizing a change on the signature cards at First Financial Bank with the exception of the police EOS and the police special accounts. Savannah?
In your packet, you'll see the resolution, and then we are adding Mayor Pro Tem Charlie Archer. So it's Mayor Terry Robinson, Mayor Pro Tem Charlie Archer, City Manager Savannah Fortenberry, Finance Director Carol Stevens.
I'll make that motion to make the change.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried.
I'll make the motion. Am I supposed to aye as well?
Yes, sir.
Aye.
Motion passed. Agenda item number 6, approving resolution number 2024-05-28-J. A resolution of the City of Ranger, Texas, authorizing a change on the signature cards on the police accounts at First Financial Bank.
So this one is with the police department accounts to Leos and the police special. This is adding Mayor Pro Tem Charlie Archer. So the list is Mayor Terry Robinson, Mayor Pro Tem Charlie Archer, City Manager Savannah Fortenberry, Chief of Police Joel Moran, Finance Director Carol Stevens.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Agenda item number 7, discuss, consider update on Clean Ranger Advisory Board. Commissioner Calvert.
Yes, we had the first kind of draft of the advisory board meeting, well attended, 20+ people. We have people of that group working now on zoning, ranger, fire code, a person working with the tax office in Eastland, and of course the fence ordinance, which is on the agenda tonight, or discussing a fence ordinance. We'll have another follow-up in June, and then of course we'll have the special meeting in July. There are some rumors going around on Facebook about taking people's homes that people live in. That's not discussed, considered, and we're not gonna be putting people out of their homes. We don't wanna take people's properties. We want to clean Ranger up. We want Ranger to be a clean place for our kids, our community. We want to be proud of Ranger. And if anybody was at that meeting and came away with the thought that we'd be taking people out of their homes, it's just, they're confused. So, very good first meeting, looking forward to the second, and then we'll have another update in June before the July meeting. So there'll be no action taken on that, I just wanted to give an update.
There's a whole lot of interest surrounding this topic, so
Yeah, Charlie was there, he can make discuss it as well.
it was very beneficial. I thank the team that showed up, that wants to work on it. Couldn't ask for a better group of people, so. This is why I've been looking into some of the other stuff on the agenda tonight, so that we can just add to it.
Any questions or?
Was it publicly published that the meeting was held at a certain time?
No, it's just an advisory board with people we feel like we can trust and not spread rumors. And we'll have an official group, whoever wants to come out of that. And it'll be, what I'm gonna propose to the council is that it's a non-binding voting advisory board. Just like an airport board in the community advises the city council, it's non-binding and they just make recommendations to the council. So this was just bringing minds together to see how we might be able to do it, and then we'll bring recommendations to the council as a group.
Thank you for that update, Mr. Crowell. Agenda item number 8, discuss, consider establishing rules of procedure for commission meetings. There's been a lot of questions asked about how to put things on an agenda as far as commissioners or maybe even the public. And our attorney suggested that maybe some cities have a procedure, rules of procedure for that. And so she recommended that maybe we adopt that. And so I would like to see about putting it on the agenda for our June 10th meeting, prior to our meeting, to do a workshop to discuss that and maybe come together to set up some rules of procedure as far as that way everybody can be on the same page, the commissioners as well as the public. So June 10th, if that's good with everybody, we have to call a special meeting. And I don't know whether you want to meet at 4:30, 5 o'clock, just prior to our regular scheduled meeting.
I'll make a motion, we meet at 4:30 that day to discuss your proposals.
Okay, I
I'll
have
second.
a motion, I have a second. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So that is June 10th, right?
Yeah,
4:30.
yes, ma'am.
Agenda item 9, discuss, consider Ranger Airfield Foundation PowerPoint presentation regarding Ranger Airfield, past, present, future. Mr. Calvin.
Yes, this is a PowerPoint that was proposed in 2022, before there was ever a lawsuit to dispel rumors, and that when I give this in the future, I'm going to postpone this because of the length of this meeting. I don't want to take up everybody's valuable time on such a lengthy meeting. But it will only discuss the past, present, and future and have nothing in it regarding the lawsuit. So I'm going to make a motion that we table this item.
I have a motion to table the item. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Agenda item 10, discuss, consider the appraisal solicited and employed by the City Council on July 25th, 2022 by a professional commercial real estate appraiser. Mr. Calvin.
Yes, on July 25th, 2022, or approaching 2 years ago, former Commissioner Kevin Moyes placed on the agenda that the city obtain an appraisal of multiple properties. Moyes made the motion and it passed. Moyes said, quote, "I don't intend to put any restrictions on what is the citizens, the taxpayers' property on how to evaluate that property." That's a quote. I didn't butcher the sentence. That was not true about the restrictions. There are several extraordinary measures required of the appraiser by the city, as listed by the appraiser himself in the appraisal. Upon receiving the appraisals from the multiple properties, the city immediately provided some of the appraisals to some of the parties, but not all of the parties, despite their land values being nearly identical. Now, the city attorney has gotten back, said this could be a conflict of interest because it's a matter under litigation. We went back and searched, and all of the airfield's filings, appraisal is never mentioned. So RAMF, the Maintenance Foundation, never mentioned the appraisal in any of its filings. And the city's own appellate brief on page 34, filed on October 25th last year, says, quote, "The foundation does not plead that an appraisal was performed and what the results of it were." So it's not a matter under litigation. And the city makes no reference to the appraisal in their filings either. I believe the citizens have a right to know and view the appraisals for which the citizens paid $5,000. I will say that if it was to be kept private or secret, the city attorney would have never approved letting me see it here in City Hall. The city has sat on this, both appraisals, for 2 years. The taxpayers paid $5,000 for it. Why we need to keep that a secret? I don't know. I don't even know what I can say about on this response from the attorney talking about the airfield being, quote, critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructure is why we cannot give the public what the public paid for it. It's not a good look. I ran on transparency, and I would like that appraisal posted on the city's website, both appraisals of the EDC land and the airfield on the city's website, along with all the other stuff that the city's posted on the website. So my motion will be to publish and make public the appraisal that the taxpayers paid $5,000 for regarding the EDC land and the airfield, and that's my motion.
I have one motion, do I have a second?
Can I ask a question? Is there a pending ruling on the,
This is from the attorney regarding the appraisal. There's a request for ruling pending with the Attorney General's office. One of the arguments made in support of withholding the appraisal was that the airport is critical infrastructure. If the appraisal is issued before a ruling is received, the city will be waiving the right to keep the information confidential, regardless of what the AG rules. I recommend that the city wait until the AG rules. If the city does not want to wait until the AG rules, then I recommend the commission vote on the question of not waiting. This would be a commission decision. But it is currently up before the Attorney General in regards to releasing that information at this time.
So I will say is that what they're referencing is I put in a PIR before being elected, asking for a copy of the appraisal, just like I put a PIR in asking for how much the city spent on attorney's fees. And every time I put in a PIR, we get a generic letter back saying it's a matter under litigation. So just like that we, the taxpayers, paid an attorney to write a letter to me and the Attorney General stating they didn't have to tell us what they spent on attorneys. That came back untrue, and the city did have to tell us what they spent on attorneys. So the city has not had a good record on this. It's a matter under litigation. They had to hand over what they spent on the attorney's fees, and what is there to hide? Even if it says, the attorney says, oh, you don't have to provide it. Why keep it from the citizens of Ranger? Especially when the city's hung their hat so much on this. So I ran on transparency. My motion is to make public both appraisals that the taxpayers paid $5,000 for. That's my motion.
Okay, I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'm gonna second that based on the fact that I ran on the same principle.
Okay, Any discussion? No further discussion. Being that it is up before the Attorney General, then my discussion would be to wait. I like to be transparent too, but I would like to wait until, to reveal that information when the Attorney General rules on that matter. But, so,
Then I'll amend my motion. If the Attorney General says it is legal to be released to the public, my motion is, when that comes back from the Attorney General, it be published on the city's website, both the EDC and the airfield appraisal. That's my motion.
okay, that motion has been amended. Seconded? Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. What time is it? So then we're doing-
It's 1:58, yes, ma'am, I will.
Agenda item 11, discuss, consider engagement letter performance thereof with Mercer, Fort, and McDonald PLLC as approved by the City Council on January 23rd, 2023. Mr. Calvert.
Yes, the engagement letter approved by the council in 2023 with another law firm includes section 2, scope of work. This is all public. You can go to the city's website in the minutes from the January 23rd or so meeting of 23. There's that engagement letter on multiple pages in the council package, public, so I'm only reading something public here. Number two, scope of work. The city of Granger hereby engages Messer Fort McDonald to perform the following services. They mentioned the first one, which includes the airfield, as under A, but B, perform any other services mutually agreed upon by the city of Granger and Messer Fort. My issue is not regarding the airfield. It is, the city has employed Messer Fort, and McDonald for work beyond the airfield. And I'm able to raise concerns with the vendor's performance that don't regard the airfield in any way. And my concerns are with the recall matter. The city employed Messer Fort McDonald to protect, in my opinion, I'll say, the position of a couple people that were up for recall. They took that matter to the Government Court of Appeals. The city lost that under the representation of Messer Fort McDonald, spent tens of thousands of dollars, and then after the appeals court ruled against the city, Messer Fort appealed to the state Supreme Court, spent more taxpayer money appealing, and they were denied at the state Supreme Court. So they've done nothing but lose. They've taken our valuable resources, and I would like to terminate the Messer Fort McDonald. Item J of the engagement letter, again public, states, quote, termination. Either party may terminate our representation at any time by notifying the other in writing. So, yeah. They've not done good with our taxpayer money. I don't know that you can point to a victory with Messer Fort McDonald at all. I would challenge it. I would challenge anybody in the discussion after my motion to tell me where Messer Fort has been good for the city. So my motion is to terminate, as allowed in item J, either party may terminate our representation at any time. So I motion to terminate our contract with Messer Fort McDonald, effective immediately.
Mr. Calvert, being that this attorney that is hired by this firm to represent the city, it is an ongoing litigation with the airport, which you have a conflict of interest in. And as long as that litigation is continuing, then this firm is who is representing us in that litigation.
That's actually not true. When you terminated the lease, and we can't talk about this much, but it's public, when you terminated the lease, you terminated using Knight Law Firm. Knight Law Firm wrote the letter to the Airfield Foundation. So, Messer Fort has taken our taxpayer money. I have a motion on the table. I would like the record to show where each of us as a commissioner stands on Messer Fort McDonald. My motion is to terminate immediately.
Once again, I believe there's a conflict of interest here, and I think you need to recuse yourself from this discussion.
I referenced everything outside the airfield regarding just because they have some stuff that touch it, it says B, perform any other services, and they have done that. Master Ford has been employed by the city of Ranger beyond the airfield. And I don't take lightly this email from the attorney that questions if my interests are with the city of Ranger or not. Who is to determine if my interests are for the betterment of Ranger? Somebody in Austin?
I mean, where's your bias? I mean, are you biased? I mean, you serve on the airport, but you serve on the commission, so is there a bias there?
I don't know, 78% of the people voted for me. Do they have a bias that we'd be responsible with our taxpayer money and hire better legal representation?
I ask you to recuse yourself from this, meaning that there is the possibility of,
You can ask that, but the cards fall, if I gotta fall on the sword, take it up with legal. But my motion is to terminate, and I need you to call for a second.
okay, I call for a second.
I don't think we, ask her.
We need to take this into executive session.
Well, no, I can't go back there, so maybe you should.
No, it's not on the agenda to be taken back to executive session, so we're not allowed to do that. But it's posted on the agenda.
It says the city council reserves the right to convene an executive session concerning any of the items listed on this agenda under the authority of the mayor whenever it is considered necessary and legally justified under the Open Meetings Act. That's on the posted agenda. So it's actually up to you, Mayor.
Council?
And I will recuse myself from executive session if you want to go back there and discuss it.
I'll allow the discussion.
You have a motion on the floor, Mayor.
I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Calvert. I need a second motion before we proceed.
Are we gonna have a discussion?
We will after the second motion.
Okay, I wanna make that motion then, I'll second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Nay. Aye. Item agenda number 12. Discuss, consider PUC water rate challenge. Mr. Archer.
Well, I put this on here, and I was not going to be talking about any of the legal aspects of it, so that I was in compliance by the attorneys. I just wanted to be on the record of saying that I was thoroughly against the challenge, based off the fact that it's a very expensive situation for both entities. So, we just make a motion to take no action on that at this point. I just want to be on the record.
So this, just,
I'll second that, but I have a discuss item after my second.
okay. I have a first and a second. Any discussion?
I too am against the PUC challenge. I don't think there's anything crooked going on at the water supply district. I want the record to show that for everybody in the room and anybody watching online. I was wanting to cancel it immediately because we've been told that it's going to cost our city about $50,000 or more in legal fees for the PUC challenge, and it's going to cost the water supply district probably over $100,000 in legal fees, which Eastland's going to be splitting the bill with. Everybody thinks it's ridiculous, but they want it to continue at the water supply district just so there's no more questions in these stupid videos and all of these accusations. I am against the PUC challenge, and I look forward to getting a good result from this PUC challenge.
Okay, so there's no action on that matter? It's just,
No action, that's your motion, second.
no.
They made a motion in a second, so all in favor.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
What is the, I'm sorry, I'm a little.
Take no action.
To take no action,
Just that.
okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passed. Agenda item 13, discuss, consider having signs made to encourage people to call and report water leaks. Mr. Archer.
Yes, ma'am. We've all been talking about the drought conditions over and over again. We get the water usage report sent to us regularly through the water district. So my thought process behind this is there's a lot of people still out there that don't have social media. We're the lucky ones. They don't get to see the social media mess. But I think we need to make like some yard signs or something that we can put out throughout the town with the phone number to call and report leaks, and also possibly put a drought contingency reminder on that sign to conserve water. That's our most precious resource, and luckily, looking at the water usage report, it's much better, it's much more favorable. So in an effort to continue to conserve and to control water leaks, I think that we should place some signs throughout the town.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Who's gonna be, making the signs, and how are they gonna be put up?
I would think that Brian signs would be a good
I'm
option.
asking for a second. Do you have a motion?
I really have a problem with seconding and making motions before discussion. I would like the confirmation that that is what we have to have. Because I'm making a motion to make signs and we have no idea who's in them. Are you gonna do them, Charlie, Savannah, Summer, Mayor?
At this point, we will continue until we research that further. So I'll ask for a second motion.
Actually, I'd like to amend the motion. I should have put this in here. Make a motion. I'd like to first make a motion to have the signs placed after we come up with the expenses. And once we figure out what it's gonna cost, then we can come back and vote on it again at that point.
Okay, I have an amended motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second. Any discussion?
Just let you know when you're pricing it, I have about 100 of the HP, the cardboard, plastic cardboard, the signs are made of normally. I have about 100 of the H things that you punch in the ground and it slides on. They're free.
Okay?
Save a couple pennies.
Save.
Did you mention that the city could probably provide those? Did we discuss that at some point?
No, the city could, design something or try to have something like that made up. But I think Mr. Archer had talked to me earlier that he wanted big signs, more than just, 8.5 by 11 yard signs, things for people to see. My only issue is that, if we're using the loop or things like that, let's text out right away.
Well, we have some areas that we can place them, so.
Right, yes.
I would think we'd have one big sign, say, in front of the stoplight. It would be more effective and cheaper. People see it at the stoplight, it's right there. And I can't speak for Mr. Crawley, but maybe he'll let us use that piece right in front of his property. And another thing is, I think theft is a bigger issue, honestly, than leaks. We've seen our water usage go below Eastland's when we've been getting all this rain, which does not make sense to me. If we've got leaks for our water loss, I think we've got a theft source. Yeah, when we're in drier times, we have a higher water usage than Eastland, and now that it's raining, we have a lower usage. So maybe the sign is large, and it's in front of the Crawleys, and it mentions report leaks or water theft.
Yes.
Something to bring attention to it. So,
A free alternative is to put it on the water bill. Everybody that receives a water bill can see that.
Yes.
And you have that capability, right? to put it in.
Yes, we do.
That'd probably be the place too. That would be totally free.
You could add it there, but have it like he's
Yeah,
talking about
no,
large.
sounds a good idea.
Yeah, large in front of everybody. It's just a constant reminder.
since we've discussed now, we have a motion. Can I amend the motion or make a motion that we quote a large 10-foot sign with Brian signs and speak to Mr. Crawley about putting it in front of his property at the stoplight? And then we'll get a quote for that for the next council meeting. Can I So see, we got multiple motions on the table now.
Let's start fresh. Brand new motion.
Charlie made a motion. Here's Robert's Rules of Orders, Terry. According to Robert's Rules of Orders, discussion occurs after a member has made a motion and another member has seconded. The chair will then restate the motion or rule it out of order before calling for discussion. Robert's Rules of Orders.
Okay, so you've got to call for an all in favor and we've got to deny it, and then we can make a new motion.
Correct, because you have a motion on the floor to begin with.
I love government efficiency.
I like to make sure that I'm correct, so.
I understand.
Okay. Because I am presiding over this meeting.
No, I understand.
Okay. Not any disrespect.
No, I understand, I'm clear now.
Okay, so Charlie made a motion, Jared wants to make a second with amended.
No, we already had a second.
Okay,
Didn't you second? Wendy seconded.
Randy seconded, okay.
So we need all in favor where we all deny it.
Correct.
So we'll deny it and redo it, right?
Start over.
Okay.
This
I've got something.
Oh, I'm sorry, just go ahead. So,
I believe your person that made the motion can amend his
Charlie.
motion.
Okay, I'm gonna amend my motion again. So, I amend the motion to get a quote on a large 10 by 10 sign, and seek the permission of Mr. Crowley to put out for his business.
yes, sir, now we'll have a second.
I'll second that.
I have a second, any other discussion? Go ahead.
There's actually a guy there here in Ranger that does signs too. Why
Okay.
don't you keep them the money?
The amendment,
You see down here, is this the one that does? Okay, I just thought.
The amendment.
the amendment is just quote a large 10 by 10 sign. He didn't specify, so that allows for open.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? I thought that would be an easy one. All right, we still have
Yes, ma'am, you have 15 minutes.
It'll be a fun 2 years.
agenda item 14, at least I got a laugh out of everybody, you know. Discuss, consider progress and location of the water lines that have been replaced, Mr. Arthur.
I had sent this to Savannah, what I'm looking for, and I know that we have I think it's upstairs, what I was told, that we have the project, where we did the water line before, that tells us where we've been, where we left off.
Yes, as long as at that time the director or anybody in that position was keeping track of that, it is noted on the map, yes.
Okay. That's what I'm looking for, is if we can actually find that, so that we can see kind of what we're left.
There is a map, there's not, if the guys are working in a hole and they replace a joint pipe, they replace a joint pipe. Sometimes that's noted on the map, again, it's going to be who's out there and who's keeping track of that.
Well,
Mayor, can we tell Mayor?
Yes, please.
what I'm looking for is from that original project, where did they stop?
Which project are we talking about?
Okay, it was replacing water lines throughout the town.
And there's been multiple of them. There was a grant, Texas Water Development Board grant they did back in 19, when they replaced all the meters. And then we just did the valve hydrants, and that was one grant, so the Texas Water Development Board is the one I think correct, so I just want to make sure.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Trying to get an idea of what we have left in place. So we'll plan around it, because obviously, we still have some issues that we can address. That's what I'm asking for, if you can get an update on that.
Okay. Got it.
Francisco, they've got plastic everywhere, and East passing out the squares. We definitely need to, there's a partnership. There's a partner to create something that we can put out all over town. It's only going to be beneficial to the businesses that are here and to those that are going to come here. We desperately need to do business, and if somebody's coming to town and looking to relocate, if they see that the town and economic development is total support, it's a good look for all of us.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
And I think
That'd be a good thing to do.
yes, and it'd just be a good partnership for all of us.
So your motion, Charlie, is for us to collaborate with RABC to create a shopping mall.
Yes, ma'am. That's my motion.
I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any other discussion?
Mayor, if I just make one comment, Charlie, typically, I'm just making sure I understand this, typically those are like, chambers, like Cisco's Chamber of Commerce is at East and stuff too. I just wanna make sure that it is supposed to be with EDC, that's who you're going to do it, okay? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Agenda item 16, discuss and consider drafting the fence ordinance for the city of Greenville.
All right, so I had copies made for everybody. This is an ordinance that Eastland is in the process. We just have to second reading. In the effort to clean up the town, we know that there's been citations written and people have been doing some work to correct issues. Then there's a mindset that they can do fences around everything in compliance. Hiding the problem is not being in compliance. There's people that fly over looking to relocate, so if we fence it off, we just will fly over and see it. So, all the towns around us are passing these ordinances. This is a very good ordinance. It discusses where the privacy fences can be. It doesn't take away the privacy fence from the front yard, but it sets certain parameters that basically push the fence back where it would take most people's front yards out. It talks about how it has to be 15 feet from the curb. If you have a home that's on the corner, it would be 15 feet back from each curb, then there has to be a visible triangle, clear line of sight. My neighbor put up a fence, and they went all the way around their house, and during the day, when my granddaughter gets out of school, you can already see the school bus coming. So, my fear is, if you put the fences to the road, somebody's going to get run over or something. This ordinance is all inclusive. It talks about how the fences can be, you can fence in the entire property, you can see through, chain link, wrought iron, things like that. I think it's a responsible thing for us to do. We're not saying you can't have a privacy fence, but we're saying it has to be in compliance. I would like us to consider adopting this same ordinance.
Make a motion to draft the fence ordinance for the city of Greenville. Do I have a second?
That's a motion to adopt it. We have first reading at the June 10th meeting.
Well, we'll have to go through legal and then,
That'll be several weeks.
yes.
It's just drafting. Fence ordinance.
Well, I would like to put something, as a date to have first reading motion. Because the issue with this is, number one, that brought this up is people having jumped up yards and they put up solid fences, 8 feet tall, for their property, also cutting off the corner. So, I'll second that, and hopefully we can have the first reading at the next meeting.
Discussion.
Does this impact existing fences?
No, they would be grandfathered in. You can't go and tell somebody how to tear the fence.
fences at block orders where it's the same district?
Well, they're grandfathered in, unfortunately.
The ones that I was concerned about are cyclone fences. They don't block the corner, but anyway,
No.
a little bit.
Those
Not a
are,
problem.
those are perfectly fine. Anything see-through is perfectly fine. It's just when they put those fences up that block all the view, you know, you're not getting 200,000 fences far, but those people put it around the back.
I'm fine to get my second as is. I'm fine to get my second as is.
Well, no, I mean, I would just like to see us come back, not even seeing this, not have a chance to read it. It was here at the meeting, after, I just think come in and everybody make your changes, just table this meeting for back to our next meeting. And go ahead and, you know, at that point, discuss the changes and actually, you know, pass the ordinance. But, I mean, either
I'm
way.
okay with that, because it kind of got sprung on you.
Well, I mean, have you read it? I haven't
I
read it.
like the idea, but when
Yeah.
we were told we were gonna get stuff 96 or whatever number of hours ahead of time.
This is
And
something,
this was not in the packet.
this is something I've been working on, I've been waiting on all the cities.
It's
around.
great, except we haven't had a chance to read it.
Yeah, just keep in mind, that we have to have two readings. The first reading would be June 1st, the second would be the second reading.
I mean, you need to be careful with ordinances. You need to look at ordinances and make sure you understand what you're doing. That's it.
If you took this ordinance and redacted,
Yes.
anything you want to redact it in, since we don't have a fixed ordinance right now.
Well, my point is we've got 2 weeks to make our changes and suggestions to each other through email with the city attorney, to then have the first draft with our changes over the next 2 weeks. And I think 2 weeks is enough time for us to read it. I'm not trying to cram it through, but we've got the first reading and the second reading, the second meeting. And so we've got 2 weeks to bounce around ideas to the city attorney. And it's in front of us right now. It's all my fault.
So in the past, it's been the city prosecutor, because that's the one that's prosecuting these citations, written on a city ordinance. So it's not been through the city attorney, it's the city prosecutor that's been doing these ordinances, if they're proper.
So the process, explain the process.
This is just in the past. In the past, there were ordinances brought forward, changes were presented by council members, and then it was presented to that prosecutor. We go through, you know, here's my list of changes, send it over to the city manager, city secretary, and we hand it over to the prosecutor. The prosecutor takes those and compiles it and does the best that she can to present the ordinance with everything in mind
Yeah.
from each commission. Yes, obviously that part, yes. And so she's the one prosecuting it.
Yeah, and this is not, my motion was not to adopt this as presented. It's only to get it to the prosecutor, and if it's ready at the next meeting, we vote on it.
So
Part of what I'm reading on YouTube, is just drafting fence ordinance, so we're in the process of trying to
Right.
draft a completely, not this ordinance.
No, this is a template, it's very good.
We could take, you could take things from this, but that's gonna take some discussion between the commissioners, to do that, so I haven't.
That was my motion, consider drafting this.
I have a question since it's just in the drafting thing. I think it's an interesting thing, because I live in cities that have that, but they also have a provision in there where someone's gonna build a business, they have to be a part of the city to do it. Is that gonna be a part of that?
I believe it is in this actual packet here.
It's not a bad idea.
Exactly.
Can we roll this, into the next 4:30 meeting on June 10th?
Possibly.
And we post the ordinance as provided with Eastland on the city's website, to allow a public comment period on June 10th, 4:30 meeting. This is why I hate motions that we now have to amend. Can you rescind your motion?
I didn't even know the words before.
Well, yeah, we need to see if that's by law we're gonna do it, because it would be much more efficient over the next year for us to make a motion, hold it one. I would like us to roll this into the June 10th meeting to allow a public comment period, post this draft as provided for East Louisville City's website tomorrow, post it on the city's Facebook page, a link to that, and notify the public that we're in a public comment period at the 4:30 meeting on June 10th.
Is that possible?
My view of that is you're taking the city of Eastland's ordinance, and that's not what you're presenting to council to pass. You're gonna do something with the prosecutor.
Take the city of Eastland off the top of it and say this is a proposed first draft. They paid legal already to do all this.
But this is a draft that we have not had a chance to read, was not.
I know, we
Now
got-
you're trying to move it to where we're gonna post on the website and this is what we're doing, and we haven't had a chance to read it.
But again, so what
I
happens,
want a chance to read it before I do anything.
we're only talking about having a public comment period for like her question. If we have something, because what's gonna happen is now,
That would be your first reading, would it not? Where it would be a public meeting.
Yes, you can do that, you can do that once you got it back from the prosecutor. After council puts in their discussion and what they want in the ordinance, it goes to the prosecutor drafts the ordinance, you have a draft. You bring it back to the table, and at that point, you can open all public comment.
and then we have to make changes before the second reading, or we have to have another
You
first
can't do
reading.
that.
You can,
I think the easiest way is to go and draft an ordinance, that the commission has their way of speaking on, and then allowing that. I can absolutely put up a public comment section on our website. There's some PIR stuff with Facebook that we can't just allow everybody to comment, because we're keeping to retention.
Yeah, we don't want people to comment, it's just a matter of, this is the information, this is an example of a draft of an ordinance done by another community. We'll have a public comment period, people can ask their questions, they can read the ordinance and see that there's a permitting process, or maybe someone has a suggestion that I want. This is only just to get it out there now, for the sake of being more efficient. And it's not, again, passing this, it's only to roll this into the June 10th meeting to allow the public to speak on it.
I don't think that's possible, not even having read the ordinance, so all in favor of drafting the fence ordinance for the city of Ranger?
Who's drafting?
City prosecutor.
And what are we paying the prosecutor, and are they gonna use another one, or are they gonna bill us a bunch of thousands of
We
dollars?
have to build our own ordinance. We can use, this is just a template, this is not our ordinance, we can't use that. We have to build our own ordinance. It has to go through the prosecutor.
Regardless, you're gonna have legal review.
I understand that, but paying someone to draft a whole new one seems kind of ridiculous.
So does council want to provide their comments on this one to me? And changes that they would like to see to this one? Before it, so the prosecutor drafting right now.
But that still have to wait until our meeting reading.
What about this? I'll make a motion to table it for now, so everybody has time to review the existing, this template, and we can decide what changes need to be made.
At any time you have changes, you're more than welcome to email us to me, and so we're waiting until the next meeting.
And have a motion to table this drafting fence ordinance for the city of Ranger. We don't have a second. Second, we have a second. All in favor? Any opposed?
Stay.
At this time, we are going to go into executive session. Agenda item 21, discuss, consider convening executive session pursuant to section 551.087, Texas Government Code, section 1.05, Texas Disciplinary Rules, Professional Conduct, revival